Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Hey, did we not do the intro? I don't know. I feel like
Do you not pay attention? Do you not hear it?
I didn't hear it. It didn't happen.
I played the entire time.
Yeah, I heard the entire thing.
Weird.
It's not the first time that's happened to you, Ryan.
Speaking of weird, how's baseball doing tonight?
Hey, 4-0 win. I mean, it only took us 8 innings to score runs, but yeah.
Hey, but then we scored 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah. You just looked into to see what the score is going to be before coming on here. And, look, we're up 1-0. Man, 1-0 in the 8th inning, that's a sucky game. Then I realized we had just scored that one run. Like, it was just scored, and then the bases were loaded, and we scored 3 more on what apparently was all wild pitches or, like, overthrows. So, hey.
What a good time to tune in, huh?
West Georgia, well, it's just the game cast. It wasn't even like they didn't have the video playing. So, but yeah, West Georgia sucks. We beat them. Haha, they suck. And then they beat ranked Southern Miss over the weekend.
We escaped Hattiesburg with a win.
Yeah, everybody can keep their brooms in Hattiesburg.
Is that a thing?
Look, as long as we don't get swept, we're okay. So, not perfect, but it's better than getting swept.
Yeah, we're at Arkansas State this weekend. They are slightly
middling.
I was going to say they're slightly worse than us, but I don't think it really matters because there's like a 1-game difference, so they're pretty much the same as us.
Yeah, isn't it? And this is the top 8 teams make it. This is like a real tournament, right?
Exactly. I think it's top 8.
Top 8
or top 10, right?
I mean, if it's top 8, we're teetering.
No, well, right now we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, we're 7. Look at that. Yeah,
we're
but
teetering.
I don't think that the Sunbelt site has everything updated yet. They are obviously updating the baseball stuff mainly. We're right behind. Actually, I guess we're technically tied with Trash Down South if the Sunbelt site is to be believed, which it's not. We have seen on multiple occasions where it's not updated. Like they had us losing. They had us getting swept by Trash Down South. And we won one of the games on the Sunbelt website, the Sunbelt standings, the Sunbelt scores. They had us as having lost a game, showing a loss that we had won a game. So
I think they doubled down on that 20 to whatever.
Yeah, they just took all the runs that you scored over the weekend and applied that across. Yeah. Well, I know when you hire people in New Orleans to do your technology, you're going to get New Orleans quality people. So,
I mean, do you really think this is technology, or someone just goes into some kind of spreadsheet and submits?
If I'm not mistaken, they had the game right on the schedule. They didn't have the standings right, which means that you're actually having to enter in data in 2 different places. It's not the standings are not being updated based off of what the scores in the schedule were.
I thought they had the schedule wrong because that's where
the schedule was wrong too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, everything was wrong. They were, you know what? The good news about the Sun Belt, they are very responsive. I messaged them. They said thank you for reaching out, and then within hours they fixed it. So
the good news about a Division I athletics conference is they're very responsive to social media posts about getting scores wrong for their own games. It wasn't even like a score for a out of conference game. It was an in conference game.
Yeah.
I think the website is set up that football and basketball pull from ESPN or one of the APIs, but I guess they didn't want to shell out the bucks for the API for baseball because that's the only explanation is it's getting manually updated. Because I've checked football and basketball like moments after games have finished and it's had the updated standings. Baseball must be manually updated by somebody at the conference.
Well, we got Arkansas State, right? We're headed to Jonesboro, lovely Jonesboro, Arkansas. I've never been. No, don't think I'll ever go.
I've never heard of any place in Arkansas referred to as lovely. Here's how bad Arkansas is. I drove to Arkansas from Louisiana, and you know how like when you drive, like I drive often to Tennessee or to Memphis from here, And there's a clear difference when you leave Alabama and you make it to Mississippi. The quality of the road, the interstates, like the federally funded interstates, there's a
Goes
clear
way
difference
down.
on I-22 from Bama to Mississippi. Here's how bad Arkansas is. You guys know what I think of Louisiana. There was a clear difference in leaving Louisiana and getting into Arkansas. Like the roads got even worse than what northern Louisiana had better roads than Arkansas. That's how bad Arkansas is.
I don't remember northern Louisiana that much. I remember Mississippi because it just turns to clay. All the
Right.
roads, like even the highway, just weirdly, it's quality. It's like a good road, but it's clay.
And there's just stretches of like on the interstate. There's just stretches like we're just going to start using cement now for this part of for this part of the not the entire road, not the entire 2 lanes, but this one part for the next 1,000 feet. It's just going to be cement.
I feel like I went somewhere in northern. Maybe not.
Northern Louisiana. That's
I
not
was
likely. There's
I
nothing
was
much up
somewhere
there.
south of Memphis in Mississippi.
Like South Haven
no.
or
I went to
Olive Branch.
That's where I
the
was.
la-
Olive Branch.
the Landers Center in. I don't see a city, but there's probably a city somewhere tied to this thing. It's an arena. Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
say Olive Branch, and then riding to Memphis with you, David.
Right.
That's where I really remember the clay roads up there. Just because, like, when I flew to Olive Branch, I flew into Memphis and drove to Olive Branch.
The
with
big
you,
cities.
what?
South Haven.
Well, I stayed in Memphis
said
when I was
South
there,
Haven.
though.
Yeah.
Ever been to South Haven?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
through
care
it.
to go back to that part of the country very often. It's not great. Memphis is like another one of those cities that to me is just like it's not good. I mean, it's like on New Orleans level, like just not. It's just not. It's not a good city.
On
If
paper,
I
it should be good, but in reality, it's not.
It's
if I didn't have family there, I would never have gone back. I
yeah.
definitely wouldn't go back as often as I do. I have a new nephew that's almost a year old, and I haven't been to see him yet, just because it means I've got to go to Memphis to do it.
Yeah.
So
It's like I get they're good at ribs, but guess what? Like I am too.
Are you gonna
Exactly.
you gonna do Memphis in May? Is that what it's called? You do that
Yeah,
again?
no, I think we're either retired from that or we are on a long hiatus, a kid's hiatus. Maybe when the kids are a little bit older and cost a little bit less, we'll get back into it. But right now, we are not doing that. So, yeah.
So baseball. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, we still got, a few 4 or 5 weeks left.
4 series left.
Yep. With some it's baseball is just so interesting the way they do those weekend series and just those one games against most random teams. Like West Georgia makes sense playing them, but like South Carolina upstate is coming up here in a couple of weeks. I don't know. It's just I do like the name upstate for a directional name, but it's kind of weird to have that in South Carolina. Is South Carolina big enough to have an upstate? I guess you can't call it like
Sure.
You couldn't call it Northern South Carolina.
Yeah, no way.
Though.
Our shit ass friends down south have a very easy schedule the rest of the year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they got Louisiana or Lala or Lafayette. What do you want to call them?
We get Lafayette.
We do too. So they're our common, but then they have James Madison, who's terrible. Texas State, who's terrible.
Jimmy Madison's bad at something.
They're last place in the conference, 13 and
yeah.
27. That is like a Georgia State record right there.
Fantastic.
And then they got Marshall. Marshall's,
and we've got Marshall.
They're
as
terrible
well.
too. Yeah. So
we got Marshall. Yeah.
We got 2 common opponents, but like they got the easier path with James Madison.
Well, yeah, Lafayette's ahead of both of us right now. We have App State is ahead of us, but then Marshall and James Madison at the bottom. So it's just important that we can sweep those series, and hopefully they can steal 1 or 2 away from the trash just to get ahead of them. How great would it be to actually knock trash, especially after them beating us 20-0, to knock them out of the conference playoffs?
Could happen. They got to play Louisiana, and Louisiana's not doing too poorly. We got Arkansas. They stole 2 or 3 from Arkansas State, so there's no reason we can't do that too. So
It's pretty flat in the conference, really. You look at it,
yeah,
you got,
it's a
I
huge
guess,
middle.
yeah, 3 or 4 teams are really kind of doing pretty well, and you've got 3 or 4 teams, or 2, really 3 teams that aren't doing so well at all. Everybody else is within a game of each other. It's pretty flat in that respect. So I guess it has that bell curve, right?
Yeah. We have what, the 1, 2, 3, fourth most wins in the conference. Go
And
figure.
are we still leading everybody in home runs?
I think so. Yeah, we lead lots of statistics, I believe.
I think
For
there's another
baseball.
dinger tonight, and I saw in the that eighth inning. I think there was a solo home run. I think that's what got it started off as a solo home run. I may be wrong on that. Don't hold me to it, but I think that's what I saw. So yeah, so that's I don't have anything really Georgia State. Beach volleyball, they shat the bed in South Carolina last week. I think out of the 5 teams we played, I looked at it last week, and I think all 5 we had a not just a winning record against, but like a super winning record against, and we won 4. Sorry, we won 1 of the matches out of the 5. We went 1-4, and we ended the season second place in conference. I don't know if we've ever been that low in the conference. Well, at least not in the Sun Belt, which is only the second year of Sun Belt beach volleyball. But that's just
Wait, I thought we were supposed to win the conference.
well, we're second seed going into the tournament, the conference tournament this weekend, playing College of Charleston on Thursday. I think it's in Huntsville.
Ugh.
No.
I mean, ooh. We going back to baseball, because baseball is the only thing we have to care about right now. Who cares about beach volleyball? No, just kidding. I love beach volleyball.
Damn.
We should invest all our money in beach volleyball and win the national championship. Then we can say we're national champions.
Yes, there we go. We should do that, and then once we win that, we can focus into another sport and just start working our way through all the sports until we can start claiming national championships.
Yeah.
That would be funny if a school did that. They literally focus all their efforts into one of the smaller Olympic sports, whatever, and it's funded it hardcore until it won a national champion, and then diverted all funds to another smaller Olympic sport thing and just start piling up national championships and see how many they could get. Obviously, leaving your football and your basketball, whatever, but to see what you could do when teams start winning national championships across the spectrum of sports.
I like it. I like that. It's a good idea in this new day and age of college athletics. Why not?
Do something to be different, right? But
I
it'd
mean,
be funny.
would it be cool if we won the national championship in beach volleyball? Come on,
That'd be awesome.
We'd all be ecstatic. Come on,
We would throw a party.
we would.
Yeah, when that bus comes home, we can all be standing outside of the MARTA Georgia State Station, because that's basically where the beach volleyball thing is, and just
Throwing sand in the air.
Do you think they actually go back to there? They probably go. They probably just get picked up by their parents at the.
Oh, they'd be ready. They'd be ready for the party. We'd be getting Sandy with the Sandy Panthers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. That sounds great.
Well, actually, I thought about this. Sandy Panthers, sand is, it's kind of like, it's on the ground, it's dirt, it's dirty. Hey, it's the dirty South. Sandy Panthers, the dirty Panthers.
It's a stretch, but I'm in.
We're taking it next level. I like it.
The dirt cats, dirty cats.
Dirty. Yeah. Well, is that like dirty birds, but cats?
Yeah, that's the direction I was going with it. There's also another term I was using for
Holy
cat.
Is that where dirty birds came from? Is it dirty South, dirty birds?
You never connected that?
No.
I'm actually not sure which one came first. If Dirty Birds or Dirty South came out first.
Dirty South, definitely. The Falcons did not create the dirty South.
Okay, I don't know.
That's like hip hop culture, I think.
Okay, but yeah, Dirty Birds.
Sure.
You never connected those before?
No, I had no idea. No. Their marketing genius went way above my head.
Just because that's how good it was. It just made sense. So yeah, Dirty Birds. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
What else would they be?
I mean, didn't they have I guess it was a Dirty Bird dance too, right? Or wasn't there like a leg dance or something? There was like a leg.
Dion had his Dirty Bird celebration.
That was a good.
And it was like the stanky leg too, right? Like the little stanky leg thing.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
We need a panther dance.
A panther pounce.
We tried to do the Panther Pounce in the Georgia Dome at kickoffs, like our version of the
Oh,
Go
yeah.
Dogs, Sick 'em, Bark, 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 whatever it was. We tried to do the Panther Pounce.
Work, work.
I said with a lisp, the Panther
Pounce.
Pounce on
It's tough to
kickoffs.
start. You say that there was something in the Georgia Dome. You did that. No one else did it. You
Our
you
row did it.
you tried a thing.
We tried. There's
Get
just
It's
the
not enough
rough. I mean,
people.
get the
There's not
claw.
enough people. If there was more people in there, I think it could have caught on because we had our row and probably like 2 rows behind us, and I think then like you were on the section next to us in the first row, and I think
mhm,
y'all were doing it as well. So we had a little bit of it. It was just so empty. I think that
yeah.
if we actually had full stadium, or if they had limited the sections down to like
Just
just
what they needed.
5 or 6 on either side or something like that, you could have squoze everybody in there, but that would have been a pain in the ass to do
I don't
too.
want that. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I liked being. I like even
You
in
had
our current stadium, just sort of being wherever I want to be.
you kind of had
Yeah,
your own section to yourself, basically.
Yeah, and if I don't like the looks of my section on any given day, somebody invited somebody I
Lost.
don't really want to be, I'll just go to the next section over. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
or just go
Yeah,
get another beer and not worry about it anymore.
I do
Well, yeah.
remember.
Generally speaking, yeah, you just hang out and just be like whatever because
Right.
people are cool
I
mostly.
I do remember that just because the lower bowl at the dome had lots of seats, and it was a sea of red everywhere
Oh
when
yeah.
he went down those seats. Because like there's like what 50, 60 rows or some crazy shit like that, like a lot.
Right.
So
I've never understood why stadiums in general have not kind of like changed the colors. Why do they have like all red seats or whatever it is with the entire stadium? I know the Falcons in Mercedes Benz, they have like that one section that they use for the supporter section for United, kind of mimics
Falcon
the
Wing.
wing of the Falcon or whatever, but
Other than that,
splotch your splotch your seats out. Like have a variety, like chunks of red, chunks of black, all mixed in there. Because then if it is an empty stadium, it there's a color difference, and you don't see just all of one thing. It makes it look a little bit more unified or something like that. I don't know. That's
yeah.
what I'm looking for. But
We got a comment from Robbie Davis 01.
yeah, I just saw that we had the Tomahawk shot for the first game when CPS opened. Kind of wish we had, yeah, that, and they had the organist that would play at that first. Which I thought was a great idea.
I like the
I'm on
organist.
record thinking that having the organist there was awesome,
Yeah.
and it did not go over well. People thought it was horrible.
That's the thing is I think it was one of those things that definitely was a good idea. Glad we tried it. But it was super weird. They tried to just like force certain songs into organ music and you're like, maybe if you could just
It
maybe not
was
try to
the
do some
actual.
modern stuff and make it make sense.
It was the actual organist from the Braves games.
Oh, I
It
know.
was that guy.
Yeah.
It was him. So he was doing the same thing that he did there for 25 years or whatever it was, and I
I
thought it
feel
was
like he's a
great.
Georgia State grad too.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Hmm.
so. And
Yeah.
It's cool. It's
I
cool.
think
It's a
I
good
think
nice
if it
homage to the stadium that we just took over, I mean, it's cool.
I think that it's one of those things where if we had fans, we had enough fans to actually support anything. But if there was actually just an inkling of people like took it as a good thing, oh man, that's so cool. It's fun to do that. It would have been widespread. People would have adopted it immediately as like a thing. But there was just enough to say they thought it was dumb and stupid that it just fell to the wayside, and people just either didn't care or just jumped on board and said it was dumb. So
We should I like the Tomahawk Chalk thing. We should do that like at the 2 minute timeout before we get to halftime.
it's
Like not
2 minute.
not the entire timeout because I think it's like probably 4 minutes and 50 seconds or whatever crazy amount of time they put on there now. But like maybe have the band play something and then they transition into playing
Or like
Tomahawk Chop.
whenever the opposing team
Call
is
the
in the red
timeout.
zone,
Oh, rest
the
that.
opposing team is in the red zone, do the tomahawk chop to
You
kind of like
good?
be that
Yeah.
constant sound that's going on the entire time.
It'd be funny, and we would get made fun of by trash, of course. I think other teams would kind of enjoy it. So I think it'd be
Yeah,
fun. We should do something like that. We need traditions. We don't really
we need
have a
something.
whole lot of anything.
Well, we need people there to make it happen. But
Yeah, you keep talking about those people thing. You did say if we had fans. I was like, I'm offended. We have fans. There's just like 12 of us.
exactly. we have almost as many podcasts covering Georgia State as we have fans of Georgia State.
If you add all of us together and all the people behind the scenes to make these podcasts happen, that's Georgia
Ugh.
State's fan base right there.
There you go.
No, we have more than that. Come on.
I know. But hey, we can say it.
We can
make
hate
fun
on
of
ourselves.
We can
Yeah.
make fun of ourselves. We can do it
It's not cool, man.
because we're all the dumbasses that are still there every week.
That's true.
Exactly. So I'm going to quiz you guys.
Okay.
There are, I don't know, let's say 16 categories of stats for baseball. How
Okay.
many categories do we lead the Sun Belt in?
Are these all positive categories?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you could be like the most number of strikeout, or batters that are struck out or something like that. So, but
How many? You said how many categories are there?
I mean, there's a ton. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
said
8,
16.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Call it 21 categories.
I'm gonna say 3.
Oh, I
Okay.
was gonna say 9. I was gonna say 9.
No, I'm guessing low because he asked how many, and then he figured out that there were a lot.
Well,
There's a lot of
he
categories.
he said 16 first, and I was gonna go a little bit over halfway of that, and then he added some more categories in there. I'm sticking with my 9. 6. All right. Well,
I mean,
if we subtract Ryan's answer from mine, we nailed it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I mean,
Nailed
we lead in some pretty good categories: slugging percentage, runs scored, always a good one. Runs batted in, absolutely great. You need that. Home runs, we're tied, but whatever. We're leading it. Our name's first per the Sun Belt.
There you go.
Total plate appearances, I don't think that really matters a whole lot. It just means get at bat a lot. We lead in walks. Which I don't know
That's
if it's
good on
or
base.
bad stat, but
There
on
was
base percentage, yeah.
there's an entire Brad Pitt movie made about just getting on the base.
Yeah,
So
and that's it. So like all those categories, that's impressive stuff. Baseball is killing it. Maybe not, in the conference as much, but we do have some solid players, some solid stats, and I hope.
And that's across all of our games. That's not just limited to conference games, right?
Yeah, all games through, what does it say? April 22nd, 2025.
Oh,
so
through tonight
today?
potentially.
That's the Sun Belt. That's 50-50. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm dogs doing well.
The Pinstripe Panthers.
The pinstripe.
Yeah. All right. There were some changes or potential changes coming to college football that could be as early as this season. I think actually some of these have already been determined as this season. Some NCAA rule changes.
Okay. What do we got? Anything fun?
Big thing is on the injury timeouts. So if I don't know if this is just at the end of the game or if this is at any point during the game. I think it's any point during the game. I could be wrong. If a player goes down injured and the ball is set before the medical staff comes out to attend to the player, then the team is charged with a timeout. And if they have no timeouts, it's an immediate 5-yard penalty. Trying to battle players faking their injuries.
Okay. I like that.
Is that a big problem?
Oh yeah, it's a huge problem.
Is it?
I think I think it's definitely a problem in those last drives of the game when teams are trying to conserve clock time by a player dropping out. Tim dropped out. I said drop out. By a player going to the ground and faking a leg cramp to get the clock stopped, and then immediately they pop right back up and they're in the next play. I do think
they have to come off, don't they?
Yeah, they have to come out for a play.
They have to come on the field, but they can return the very next play.
Right.
I think just if a player goes down injured during a drive, they should not be that entire drive. They should be off the field.
What about for if they get a first down, they can come back in? No,
I think for the entire drive,
entire time. Wow.
Late in the game, they're already letting the clock run, though, aren't they?
But this is a team that doesn't want the clock to run.
Right.
It's the clock that team that wants a timeout. So they want that player to be injured. They don't want to be injured.
No, I know. But I think late in the game, they let the clock run. In the last 2 minutes or something. I think they're letting the clock run, aren't they? I get
which is dumb
mixed up with college all the time. So maybe
yeah.
Right.
To be honest, Ryan, I'm not sure exactly, but this is just another way they are trying to get the clock stopped, specifically in those last drives of the game, which I do think is unfair. I think it's unsportsmanlike, and there's no. If you
It's
had a crystal
hugely
ball,
It's fraud.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fraud. I mean, if you had
basically.
a magical way of knowing whether someone was injured or not, then that's really easy to handle. But you don't. You got no idea, and you can't.
You expect the best of people, right? So you say like, oh, we can't assume you're not injured. We have to assume you
Right.
are injured because if
You're
you are,
trying.
yeah,
You're trying to remove the unsportsmanlike conduct of faking an injury, but at the same time, you're being unsportsmanlike by not believing someone is truly injured.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So, so
So
you,
what's the rule
it's
change again? What's
the
what's
rule
the
changes right now that if a player goes to the ground and the medical staff does not run out to attend to that person before the ball is set and ready for the next play,
Mhm.
that the injured player's team is charged a timeout or penalized 5 yards if they don't have a timeout.
Also, it gives them a little hustle. Like, hey, man, your guy's injured. Like, go get to him.
Well, yeah. So,
Clea,
like,
Run
does
out
that?
there.
what are you
Yeah.
So
doing? What are you waiting for?
who instructs medical staff to run out there? Is that a head coach thing? Is that a coordinator? Is there somebody on the medical staff that's kind of like gets to make that decision about
Watching.
whether they run out there or not? I mean that adds a whole another level of responsibility into the game or into the
Well, and
strategy of everything.
And really, if they know that the guy's gonna go down injured, theoretically, they're ready with their team to run out there
Well,
already. But if they don't know that he's gonna be injured in the case of, most injuries, then then they might not be prepared. So you actually
well,
might be penalizing the people who actually are injured.
Well, what do you think about what if you put out your what is they put 11 guys out on the field? What if you put like some just third stringer out there in one of the positions and you're kind of like you drop to the ground as soon as the play's over because we don't care if you get kicked out or what happens. We'll put in a guy better than you the next play once you come out and just like start cycling through getting some playing time for these players that may not actually see the field.
I really just don't think it's that widespread, and like it's fine. Like I guess small rule changes don't really affect the game too much, and so it's worthwhile. But like, I don't think it's like ruining the game or anything to have somebody like lay down a little bit,
I think I
get
mean
a
I don't
get a
think it's not
timeout.
not something that's happening in every game every week,
No.
but there are those critical close games where it may not happen a lot, but when it happens, it could have a huge impact. Tim, what were you
Yeah,
gonna
well,
say?
and this is a small change too.
Oh.
Like if it was a large change, I might be like, what are we doing here? But like, small change. This makes sense. You tweak things a little bit, and it's not ruining the game neither with this rule change.
Yep.
Eh,
It
it's
it
fine.
inherently happens. I mean, it might not happen in the G5 as much, but watching P5 football, any team that's driving down the field, the other team mysteriously has injuries after a play. And
Mm.
it just ruins like momentum. It ruins that whole vibe of the team that's driving because it stops the plays. They can sub people on and off the field. They get a breather. They slow things down. Like I'm all for it. I want to go with it. You said, David. Like, hey, you do that, you're out.
Yeah,
That's it.
we are looking out for your safety. Our biggest concern is player safety. Therefore, you need to sit out this drive to ensure there's absolutely nothing wrong with you.
I agree.
Um, yeah,
Make them sit.
yeah. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
What other rule changes we got? Anything interesting?
There's one that I think is kind of weird. Just the types of rule changes they actually make. They're changing the review terminology.
Okay.
So instead of saying confirmed or stands as far as a challenge review, all they can say now is upheld or overturned.
So
So
there's no
before,
like confirm
before
versus
it's before
yeah,
like you could
stands.
lose it. You could lose a challenge, and they could say either stands or it is confirmed. Confirmed effectively meaning the ref. We can clearly see the ref got it right, and stands means we can't tell if he got it right, but we can tell that he didn't get it wrong type thing, or there's no evidence to show that he got it wrong.
Right. We're just gonna go with what was called because we
Yeah.
can't actually figure it
Yeah.
out either way.
Closest ref on the field saw something in the split second,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna go with that because we don't have enough to overturn it.
Right. That's
And
fine.
so now they're getting rid of confirmed and stands to go for one positive upheld.
They're
I guess.
getting rid of the drama that comes with confirm versus
Oh, I don't like that.
stands.
It makes my brain feel good to know that, like, oh, they they didn't overturn it, but, like, they couldn't really figure it out.
Yeah.
So, like,
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
I get
Does my brain some nice things, you know?
I get way more angry when I believe the challenge is fair, and they come back and say it's confirmed. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Yes.
these guys have no idea what they're talking about. They're making crap." But if they said stands, I'm like, "Ah, yeah, I guess you couldn't really see it, you know?
Yeah, they're
Damn
making
it,
it.
we need more cameras."
They're like providing us, the consumer of the product, less information for some reason. Like, why would you move back? It feels like a backwards move. Is there a
Yeah.
reason for that? They
From what I saw, it was there was confusion on the part of fans, and they said that some fans think that it's collusion on the parts of refs to not be accountable for getting something wrong by saying stands. Like, oh, we know the guy that got it wrong, but we don't want to make him look bad, so we're going to say it stands,
Well, they're still
which
gonna
makes no
say
sense.
stands. They're just gonna call it something else, and they're
Well,
gonna
Upheld.
lump it
see,
in with all the ones that are confirmed.
there's only one word for
Upheld.
the play being, as it was, and that is upheld. There will be no distinction between confirmed and stands. It's just
Right,
upheld
right. But
or
we're
overturned.
sweeping that concern that there's collusion under the rug, and we're just saying we're gonna obfuscate it basically instead of
Yeah.
actually fixing that concern, even though I don't think there's a very big concern with that. But, like, we're not gonna fix that concern, we're just gonna obfuscate it so people don't complain about it anymore.
Right.
So,
It's
so
That's
the
bullshit.
Auburn catch is upheld.
I don't
Yeah,
like it.
exactly. Yeah. That there you go. There's enough reason right there, Tim, for me not to like this rule
No.
change.
Yeah, fuck that. Oh, sorry. I don't like it. I don't
See,
like it
so
one bit.
you got to the right point to get Ryan to really react
Never
to what was
mind.
going on.
This is
Yeah,
bullshit.
that's not cool. It's not cool, man.
Yeah. There was a this is kind of irrelevant. I don't think it makes that big of a difference other than it just they're targeting the wrong part of speeding up games. If a game goes to more than 2 overtimes,
Okay.
and that's pretty rare. Before you would get a timeout for every overtime, but starting with the third overtime, you get one timeout the rest of the game. So if it goes into 16 timeouts, you got to figure out when you're blowing that timeout, which is probably going to be in that third overtime, unless you're just doing pretty well.
You got to make
But
sure you blow the timeout for sure.
yeah. So that one,
Don't leave a timeout hanging.
I think a timeout is a strategy in a game. So I feel like that's, to me, when to call a timeout is a strategic thing. It's part of the gameplay. So when they start eliminating stuff like that, to me, that is they're trying to speed the game along by getting rid of the strategy of the game, and I don't like it. There's not, like you were saying, Ryan, you don't think that the injury thing happens that often. I don't think that we go to that many overtimes. And honestly, man, when a game goes into overtime, I want it to last forever. I mean, I may want a game to end in 4 quarters, but if it goes to overtime, I want it. Unless it's one of Georgia State's games, I want that game to be over. But if it's just a random game I'm watching, I want it to go into like 3 a.m. I want to see as many overtimes as possible, and you're taking that away from me by
Like
doing this.
Georgia Tech, that endless game.
Yeah,
this is why that rule exists now, right?
Probably. Should we call this the Georgia Tech rule?
Maybe it could be. That's crazy.
So those are the only. That's what stuck out to me in those rules, and I think these are. I don't know if these are proposed. I think these are actually in effect for this season. And then Tim, the one you sent us was the proposal for like legit, actual pay for play by universities.
Yeah, you think I read that, but I only read the headline and like 2 sentences of the article. So, what did you read, David? Tell me about the
Well,
schools
here's
paying
what I'm
for
going to tell you
players.
there, Timmy boy. Here's what I'm going to tell you. There's a new plug-in to Firefox with ChatGPT that you can right-click on the
Summarizes it.
article and say summarize. And here's what ChatGPT told me about it because
What did it say?
I didn't get a chance to look at this until about 20 minutes before we came on here. No, schools can distribute up to so much money to annually to athletes. I think that's across all um, sports, not just football or just basketball or whatever it is.
Okay.
$20.5 million. They're looking at changing the roster limits instead of it being like by scholarship, actually limiting it to roster positions, period, and increasing the number of scholarships for women's sports.
Mhm.
See, as I was, I read the article.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
That
Okay,
piece,
okay. Seriously, let's put this down on the calendar
Wait,
for the time
Ryan,
that Tim or that Ryan actually read and is more prepared for
I
the
was just gonna
topic
let it go.
than
But
myself or
to me,
Tim.
that like it's gonna increase women's scholarships. I was like, you guys are this is propaganda.
Yeah,
Immediately I understood that, okay, you don't actually care about that. I know you don't actually care about that, and you only throw that in when you think that it will help sell the thing that you're doing. Otherwise you couldn't sell it. And so they really do throw that stuff in there, and I don't know, man. I'm all for just paying the
I
players, but whatever. I mean, it's like, guys, what do you, just do
I
what you're gonna
think,
want to do.
but do you not think that by increasing the number of women's scholarships in this pay for play scenario doesn't actually hurt the women that are already in those positions, already have those scholarships? Because you're if you're divvying up a fixed pool of money, and there's there's a lot more than that. There's 100 athletes, and now you're going to add 20 more women to that. Now you're dividing that 20.5 million by 120 instead of out of 100, and those female athletes are that were already on scholarship and playing in basketball, volleyball, tennis, golf, whatever they're playing. Now they're getting there's more women, but
right?
they're getting less money, as
It's
is
it's not
everybody.
clear to me that the scholarship money is included in that 20 point whatever $1 million. That to me seemed separate, but I don't know. And I wasn't really clear as to why that increased the number of women's scholarships, because I thought that they already got a finite number of scholarships, and that in some of those lower like lower level sports, non-football sports, frankly,
Non-revenue sports,
non-revenue sports, they do a lot of half scholarships. But
right?
I thought that's because they got X number of scholarships,
I
and since they were allowed to, they just divvied them out that way.
I want to say that they either did away with partial scholarships or they had talked about doing away with partial scholarships as one of the other things that were going along with all these NIL
I like
deals
partial
a year
scholarships.
or two ago or something like that. I could be completely wrong, but I think that the whole partial scholarship thing was something they were doing away with.
Yeah, to me that does serve sort of a problem, because I mean, if you can give 20 kids half a scholarship, half of a ride, not a full ride, and instead of 10 giving them a full ride, these are generally more affluent people anyway, because they're able to go do sports and have free time and stuff like that. And so, like, I don't know. I just am like, half scholarships are rad. I
Isn't
think
it?
half scholarships are cool.
Isn't it kind of weird that what you're I'm putting words in your mouth, but I think that I agree with you is
I hope they're
that
big words. Yeah.
that the non-revenue sports tend to have people from better, more affluent backgrounds.
Yeah.
But that's
Yes.
just kind of the sports
I
that
mean,
don't generate.
football is like sort of a weird thing, right? It's an enigma. It sort of lives on its own just because of its popularity, right? So like you get people who that's what they do all their lives, because like they're just really, betting the house. But then but you get like the like those lower tier ones where you're gonna have a scholarship, the non-revenue, and those are people who are just doing it as a hobby, right? I mean, like, they just don't need to work for a living. So instead of working part-time during high school, they were able to do their athletics and actually like go and practice outside of normal athletic hours and things like that. And so, like, that is typically people with more time on their hands that are able to do that, more affluent people.
Yeah, more traditional, like the purpose of what college sports were is like, hey, kind of,
Amateur.
get yeah, get our school's name into newspapers, and we'll give you an education, and then you
Yeah, I
can
mean,
go on.
you go out there and you say we give X number of scholarships. It's good marketing stuff. It's cool. Like I get it. They get a benefit from it. But yeah, but with massive revenue of football, it's different. So I
Yeah,
mean, you guys know I like these changes. I think there's like some rule changes. I don't know if we talked about this already. My brain doesn't work, but they can pay the kids directly, essentially. Not even
that's what
just
we're talking about.
NIL. They can just fund them directly without scholarships, no NIL, no nothing. Just like, hey, we're going to give you, X number of
Isn't
dollars.
isn't isn't that exactly what we're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, but I didn't know if we had gotten to that level of detail with it. That
Right.
was like, but
Well,
it,
so here's my question though. So once a university can actually start paying a player outright and have a payroll, and I don't know if there's a league salary cap like they talked about, or if conferences impose their own salary caps, whatever it is, does that do away with the NIL? Do boosters stop paying NIL money because they know that they're already getting paid, or will that continue as well? Like in the NFL and NBA and Major League Baseball, whatever, you have players that do endorsement deals all the time. I remember the Matt Ryan AirTrain commercials all the damn time and everything, which is equivalent to an NIL deal, and that's the same thing. But you know, the Falcons, if they were to come out and say, "Hey, Falcons fans, Matt Ryan may go somewhere else if we don't pay him more money than what the salary is we're already paying him. We want you to contribute to this thing to keep him here." Like, and
I just
I think
they're
what
they're
this
getting
does is
closer and
it
closer to like professional sports, but then this NIL thing is just a total anomaly, and it's different, and it can't exist in this world, or can it?
well, it started as the endorsement deal, right? And
Right.
then it sort of turned into this is how we can pay our freaking players. Which is fine. I do think, like, you guys know my opinion. I think players should be paid. I think that's fine.
Right.
Um, but like that's what it turned into immediately, and I think maybe this is an attempt to, like, fix that, to be like,
Right.
"Look, you guys just wanna pay your players, and that's cool. We're actually okay with that, but, like, let's stop calling it something it's not. It's not NIL. NIL is name, image, likeness, and yes, you can pay them for that as well, but you're not paying them for that. You're paying them for their performance on the field. Like, let's stop, you know, I keep wanting to use last call language. Let's not dance around that, right? Let's just call it what it is and pay them. And I,
Right.
I like that. I like it being more straightforward. That's good.
Now that
I
I've
mean,
read the article a little bit, David, you're talking about salary caps. It
mhm.
talks about to prevent schools from trying to circumvent the 20.5 million cap, the NCAA's proposed rules to help add stability and accountability. All players will be required to disclose their NIL agreements if they are greater or equal to $600. Agreements between the player and a third party outside of their school will be reviewed. So they're trying to like keep a little bit of balance here.
Right. I
It's
just don't
still a
see.
shit show. It's still a complete
Yeah,
shit show. Let's be
it
honest.
it is. It is. But it makes me think, and I think I just burped. I apologize. It makes me think that I keep on talking about, like, there's going to be this just huge break in college football between the haves and the have-nots, and I see it based off of like this little pay for play scenario, that could be the break. Is you're going to get to a point where there's going to be conferences that are those who allow their schools to pay players, and then
Right.
conferences where membership in it is you agree to not pay your players, and that could be what that I don't think it's as clear and simple as a P4 G6 break. I think it's going to be something else, but that's where it's going to get where, yeah, because think about it, $20.5 million for Georgia State to start paying their athletes now. We don't have that kind of money. Where I don't, if we do, I don't
We have about 750 though.
We don't have that money.
where the hell is it right now? But like this kind of just like gets rid of the whole concept of the pack and everything else that's out there. Now you're just paying players, and I don't know. How does Georgia State even come close to generating $20.5 million? You have a school like probably like App State or something. They probably have enough dumb boosters out there that would want to find a way to. I don't know. The money
It's
is supposed to be
not.
coming
There's
from the
no way.
university.
No, there's like 99% of the G5 can't keep up. Like, yeah, you might have a team that keeps up for a year, 2, 3, maybe 4, but consistently year in year out generating, let's just pretend, $20 million in the G5. It's not realistic.
It's not realistic. So I think that you'll find programs that won't drop to FCS or to a lower division of
Just
football.
won't pay.
They'll collectively come together in a conference and say, in this conference, we will not pay, or we won't pay more than a much lower level to keep it competitive. Because you got a school like Liberty that will start paying their players gobs of money, and like they're already having their way with Conference USA. There's just no stopping them at that point. But
I,
within the Sun Belt, a school like Monroe, who's like looking at adding student fees for the first time ever, just to be able to keep their program afloat, and they're going to compete with the Sun Belt schools that have been already charging these fees, and you got Jimmy Madison charging, more in fees than they do in tuition. I made that up. That's a
Right.
lie, but they charge a lot. Um, I don't know.
It's
I think once these schools start paying, when you got TV money from SEC schools like $70 million per school, yeah, they've been spending that money like crazy already, and they got to find some cuts to it to pay these players. Georgia State, Sunbelt schools, MAC schools, Mountain West schools, hell, this new pack thing that's out there, they don't have that TV money coming in that they can generate $20 million. So, hell, half the American Conference is even getting paid the same thing the other half is getting paid.
just gotta be freaking weird.
I,
That'll realign itself, right? Like once they renegotiate their TV deal, it has to.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Brian, what you got?
I was actually going to say, we focused on how high that number is for the have-nots, but it's also a pretty low number for the haves, right? I mean, a 20 million limit for UGA, Texas,
Slow
Ohio
down.
State is like
Money.
whoa. We're talking about 80. So we're just talking just football, 85 scholarships, right? And you're gonna pay your quarterback like what we're at like 2 million is like one of the higher ones that we've seen right now, but like it's going up.
Yeah, your boy that left Georgia that went down to Miami. What's his name? Carson Beck.
He's not my boy. That guy's weird looking, man.
Well, you guys both follow Georgia. Sorry,
Yes.
Yeah,
the
I
Georgia
know.
guy the Georgia guy that went down to Miami is getting paid $4 million this year.
Yeah, so
That's
yeah, so we're talking
amazing.
about and that's just going up, right? I mean, like he's not even worth $4 million, so somebody else is going to break that record like instantly if they haven't already, right? So like we're talking about like a $5 million quarterback in the next 5 years or so. I mean that's a that's a
That's insane.
quarter of your budget right there
Do
for
you
just a
think
quarterback.
do you
That's
think
crazy.
at some point the NFL starts getting involved with this? Because now, so Carson Beck is making more than like 3 other starting quarterbacks combined this year.
That's
Um, in the
The
NFL.
NCAA has created this insane product. No one can compete with the NFL. No one. And here
no.
they are with these players that they don't pay, that they do not have to. They no monetary anything, and they're just raking in the same exact money and not paying them shit. And here we go. We're like, oh, we should start paying the players, and the market is showing that the players in the NCAA maybe should be getting paid more than the NFL players.
Right. Well, so do you think
That's
the NFL
insane.
comes in and starts saying like, "Hey, guys, stop
You
paying
can't
these
do
people
this.
this much money because we don't want these players like coming in taking salary cuts to come play for us." Or
That is a
maybe
problem.
is this an opportunity for the UFL? Can the UFL capitalize on this and be like, "Hey, you've been getting used to this kind of money. NFL's not paying you that. We can get you in and pay you something." They don't have the money to do that. That's not
No,
realistic.
no, no,
No,
no.
probably not. No.
No, they were
It's not
already
realistic.
paying people. I mean, you saw the contracts on some of these non NFL professional leagues. They were like crazy low.
Oh
We're
yeah.
talking like, I mean, like it was like 35K a year not practice squad. I mean, you weren't a starter,
I think
starting
that's
quarterback or
when
anything, but like
the
35K.
the first year of the XFL, which granted was like over 20 years ago.
You mean the only year of the XFL?
Well, no, they came back and then they
Yeah.
merged with the American. Yeah, anyhow,
Ran
the
two.
original the XFL 1.0 over 20 years ago when they started, that was their whole shtick. Is every player on the team, with two exceptions, got paid $35,000 for the season.
Right.
And the two exceptions were kickers got paid $30,000 because F kickers, right? And quarterbacks got paid $40,000. That was the difference. Everybody
The
got
kicker
paid
paid for the quarterback, basically.
effectively.
That's bullshit. I'd be so pissed as a kicker. I'd be so angry.
And then the their version, their championship, their Super Bowl was the $1 million bowl, and the winning team split $1 million between the players. And I don't know if the quarterbacks got a higher percentage and the kickers got a lower percentage or not of that, but that was their whole thing. But yeah, you're talking about that was I granted, not bad for what back then was what like probably 8-12 weeks worth of work, not counting practice weeks and stuff. But
Right.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the record. Kickers are the only player on the team who's don't play football. But
Ooh.
I
They
will
make
go ahead and
money?
give them credit because they are the highest scoring player on the team as well. They are accountable for way more points than anybody else on the team alone. I mean, it's them and the place, the whatever the person holding it, the holder. Yeah, them and the
yeah,
holder and the snapper, right? I mean, it's like three people that are responsible for way more points than anybody else on the team. So
and if
not a
you ever go
football
to
player, but also that they're winning and losing games for you guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny if you ever go to practices. I've seen this at the Falcons, Fowler Ranch stuff and everything. Is you'll see like once they do all their like warm ups, whatever, all the positions kind of move over to do their own practices, and then you're exactly right. The long snapper, the holder, and the kicker, all the three guys just kind of go off to their own thing, and they just sit there and snap, kick balls for the entire hour and a half, 2 hours that they're out there.
It's easy.
So what you're saying is kickers are like unicorns. They don't play football, but they score the most points.
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
The sweet spot is to be the long snapper. I think if you can be a good long snapper,
One thing.
yeah, I think there's the local radio guy, Mike Bell. He was like a long snapper in high school or something, and he's like, it's the best position. But here's the problem: if anybody knows your name, then you're doing a bad job because no one knows a long snapper's name unless he screws up.
Until they
I was we had that long snapper when we played in the Georgia Dome, and his parents sat with us, and they were total assholes and terrible to hang out with. But they were
Right.
talking about how at some point during his high school career, they were like, "We need you to get a scholarship," and they were like, "What's the best way?" And it's long snapper, right? Because like you can totally be not that good of a football player, but get really good at this one thing, and it's really important. And so
I
they
mean,
want
it's
to
a
get
skill
long snapper.
position.
And you're gonna get a scholarship.
Have you ever like bent over and tried to rocket a ball backwards to an exact spot? Like, I mean, it's a skill position.
I
It's
mean, I can't do
difficult
shit
to.
that anybody does on the field. So all of it, I'm like,
I
I
thought
can
that
I can
bent over
run
you could do.
forward, I
I,
guess.
I feel like I get
I
dizzy.
thought your strengths were when you were bent over, Ryan.
Oh, I feel like I would get
Well, you,
dizzy and
buddy.
fall over. No? Wouldn't you
What was
get
that, Tim?
dizzy? Wouldn't you get dizzy and fall over? I think I would. Oh,
Oh, it happened to Billy Bob in Varsity Blues.
so there you go.
I mean
Fact.
that's how that's how Lance got injured and brought Mox in. So
Well, he had heart problems though, Billy Bob.
no, he got his cat scanned. He was all good. His cat was all right. I've watched that movie
His
way
heart
too
was
much.
under some
A little
stress
bit.
from all those drugs they were
Oh,
pumping him with.
no, the
Mm.
drugs were going into oh crap, now I'm gonna forget his name. The running back.
Hmm.
Ooh, you don't remember.
Oh
I
no
think
no no!
they
It's,
were jacking him
no,
up
the
too.
drugs were going. The drugs were going into Lance's leg, and then it was the running back who they were going to put it in at the end in the last game, and that's when Billy Bob comes off and says, I'm going to tear your arms off and beat you to hell with them."
It was a good
It's a
man.
great movie.
It was a good
The
movie.
first movie produced by MTV Films.
Oh.
So, all right.
We're at
No,
54.
I'm good. I gotta pee. We got 55 minutes, and we didn't even have any Georgia State news. We're doing all right.
We did good.
All right, cool. Tim, take us out of here.
Sure. Thanks everyone for listening. We're going to take a quick break here, restock the bevs, and head over to Last Call. If you liked what you heard or you didn't, join our Patreon anyway.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/State of Atlanta. You'll get live stream access to Last Call, discounts on merch, group chat action, breaking news, adult beverages at our tailgates this fall, and a lot more. $5. It's all it takes to support us. That's it. $5. Come on. Become a fan of the show, please. $5. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.